Have you ever noticed how some people, some families seem to have no luck? They seem to constantly have tragedies, misfortunes falling upon them over and over again. Well, generational curses are a real thing. We're all affected on some level by the people that came before us, the generations that came before us, our ancestors, and the traumas that they have endured. If these traumas are not resolved within that generation, they're kept secret, they're put under the rug, they're not talked about, they're not discussed. The trauma can persist, and the trauma can pass down to the next generations, and so on and so on and so on. And then the pattern repeats. The trauma is not dealt with. The trauma is not resolved, and it's passed down again and again and again. Us in the Afro-Black American community, we've had a great share of these generational curses because our community was born out of tragedy, right? The displacement from Africa, the oppression that followed that into the modern day, the dysfunction. These curses have lingered and continue to linger. And until you actively fight against this, it will continue to affect you and your descendants. Number one, you gotta recognize what a curse is. Not necessarily a curse in the magical, mystical sense, but a curse in the sense of a tragedy, right? Sense of a traumatic event, right? Your DNA, your culture, many aspects of who you are, they're passed down. This is improved by science, it's been proven by many religious traditions, been proven by just anecdotal evidence. Looking around, you might say someone, they're just like their grandfather, they're just like this. Well, things are passed down, even if you have no contact with that person. My own family in particular, my father wasn't around that much. I've been told often that I have some similar personality traits to him. I found out in my adult years that some of his vices, I also had those vices too. I was able to, in time, recognize those vices and take action. And number one is recognizing it, acknowledging it, that that's there and that it's a problem. Without recognizing the curse, without acknowledging it, it keeps its power. The more it dwells into the shadows, the more it dwells not talked about in the closet, the stronger it becomes. Once you bring it out in the open, you discuss it, you recognize what it is, that's the first step. Next step, more easier said than done, of course, but taking action against the curse. Meaning, if the curse is some type of addictive behavior, you got to actively oppose any type of addictive behavior in your life. You got to actively work against that. You can't just hope things are going to be for the best. No, you got to actively look for sources of any kind of addiction, whether it's food addiction, sexual addiction, substance addiction. Look for that. And you can't allow that in your house, so you can't allow that in your life, because you're prone to fall into that particular curse. If it's abuse, if you're a male, your anger, your urges, if misdirected, will turn into abuse. You'll abuse somebody. You don't want that to happen. Be mindful of your urges. Be mindful of your passions. Be mindful of your attitudes and feelings as a man. Make sure whatever you're into, whatever you're doing, does not harm anyone else. Okay? You start harming someone else, you become an abuser. Even if you're not harming them indirectly, you got to actively work against that abusive nature that you may have, that may got passed down to you from generations, from the first oppressors and abusers that met us in this continent, right? It might have got passed down from there, but you got to stop it. You got to step and stop it. Say no to the abuse of others. Those are the first steps in the battle of curse. The curse also needs to be battled on the spiritual front, right? Praying is all good. Praying is all good. But spirituality requires more action. It requires action too. It requires you giving yourself over to the spirits, giving yourself over to God, doing appropriate rituals, fasting, meditating, things that require some effort. Just saying a prayer or two and going about your day means nothing. But you must actively, put some have skin in the game. You must sacrifice something, do something concrete that shows your determination. Not just words. You got to show your determination. And that is when you will get the answers, the spiritual answers, the spiritual backing that you will need to defeat the curse. Now, everyone's different. Everyone's spirituality, it's your own walk. It's your own walk. If you can get there through Christianity alone or Islam alone, or do some combination of that with traditional ancestral beliefs, hey, do what you have to do. Sometimes your spirituality won't even have a name. There won't be a established path for you, but sometimes you just have to close your eyes, open up your mind, open up your body, your soul, and you will receive an answer. Just follow that answer. Search for that answer. You will need that spirituality to defeat the curses in your life. I'm not against psychology or psychiatry, but I'm against any kind of medication. You can't medicate your way out of this. You can't just, okay, I'm going to pop these pills and it's going to do it. No, that's just drug use. We all know drug use leads to more drug use. It doesn't cure anything. So if talking to a therapist can kind of help you open your eyes a little bit to see what's going on, that might be good. But that definitely will not, in itself, will not be the solution. But if that can get you, at least your mind, at least thinking about what you might need to do, what's happened to you, how to process it, it might be a good start for if you have no one else in your life to serve that function. So if you have no one to serve your function, okay, therapy might be of some help at the beginning, but end of the day, most of the work is going to come from you. You got to do the work. You got to put the mental, physical, spiritual work in yourself. Okay? And remember, only you can stop the curse. If you don't deal with it, you're going to pass it on to your children, and they're going to keep passing it on. So it all ends with you. Okay? Remember that.